Thing is, every time I see the words "going live" in the top corner, I think of going live Saturday morning television. Mark knows what I'm on about because there was a Saturday television program called Going Live. Was it Anton Deck?
No, it was Philip Schofield, wasn't it?
Philip Schofield. Now, you see, this is where everyone American just goes, who? Go to YouTube and see how this grey-haired buffoon is a national sex symbol here in the UK. It's slightly bizarre, but there we go. Welcome to Talking Comic-Con with myself, an Englishman in San Diego. I'm Leonard Sultana. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. It's the 5th of May, 2015. Is it Revenge of the 5th? Is that the one? Because obviously we missed yesterday. The May the 4th be with you. And yes, I did watch my fair share of Star Wars. I am wearing my Star Wars T-shirt in honor. I know Mark Searby is as well. Hang on, for people who are watching this on YouTube, go on then, stand up. No, come on, let's see it. Let's see it. It's a full-blown original trilogy. What on earth? That's detailed. Okay, fair enough. Because this is a episode to fill in the gaps between our missing episode, which was supposed to be on the 3rd. This is an incidental one-shot. This is kind of like a midweek kind of fill-in thing. A little brief conversation where we talk about the stuff that we've missed, the stuff we were going to talk about on Sunday as well. I'd like to thank everybody who wished all the very best to my wife, Caroline, who, yes, took a bit of a tumble on Sunday afternoon. And thankfully, no breaks. She hasn't done any major damage to her leg, but apparently it's possible ligament tears or ligament damage, which apparently could be even worse, which I'm a little bit concerned about. But all being well, hopefully she'll be hopping and skipping around San Diego in 9 weeks' time or 10 weeks' time. Well, we've got another 9 of these hangouts to do leading up to San Diego Comic-Con. Like I say, if you are watching live, thank you very much indeed for joining us, especially if you are watching from the States, because I know it's during the day, midweek. We try and do these on a Sunday, so you're a little bit more free to take part. If you're watching, jump in on the Q&A on the Google Plus event. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know how you celebrated Star Wars Day. Of course, if you did watch them, in which order did you watch the films? Because I got informed about the machete order yesterday, which is where you're supposed to watch it. Now, let me see if I remember this right. New Hope, Empire, Clones, Jedi, and then Sith. And you miss out Phantom Menace altogether. It's some strange order that you're supposed to watch them in. But Sky Movies here in the UK we just had them all in one go, and apparently they are still showing them as well. So that's an endless marathon of Star Wars going on at the moment. So do jump in on that. If you want to get in contact with us as well on the Twitters, use the hashtag CupOTSDCC. We'll take anything that you want to talk about when it comes to Comic-Con. That's what it's all about. It's a roundtable, your conversations. What do you want to cover today? We've got 2 guests with us. My regular partner in crime, we've got Alyssa Franks from the Friends of CCI.com forum. Hello, Alyssa. How are you?
Good morning. How are you, Leonard?
Good afternoon. I'm fine. Oh, time zones. Easy.
It's the quick save.
I know. I'm a time zones kind of guy. Especially when someone this morning was turning around and saying, shouldn't Twitter do something a little bit like, you know, when they had on television where they had a close of service thing? At midnight, we should just close down Twitter for half an hour and just have a close, just end of our broadcast day. At which point I'm thinking, okay, which midnight? Your midnight or, you know, proper midnight? TNT midnight. Like proper English.
Oh my! Oh my!
That's a whole other argument, is that? So, how's your weekend been? Did you celebrate Star Wars Day at all?
I did not. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I've been trying to pull my comics together for a special edition New York City, NYC, which is in 36 days or 2. I forget. but regardless, it's a matter of going through 13 long boxes for comics to have signed by artists. There have been some doings on the forum.
Okay.
The big
some doings on the forum. That sounds a bit. Ugh.
Oh, sorry. Well,
okay, we've got some. Okay, we've got some doo-doo on the forum. Go for it. Tell us about your doo-doo on the forum.
Oh, did I say that? I did a soft opening for an area called Ask David Glanzer, and what this basically is an area where if people have questions for CCI, they can post it there. Whether or not David will choose to answer it is entirely up to him, and I have no control over that. I will say that we are not, and I'm pulling up my FAQ here so I can actually make sense when I'm talking. Well, it
comes in handy every once in a while. I don't hold to that philosophy at all.
What we're suggesting people ask, the framework that people ask for is don't ask questions about numbers. We know they're not going to answer them. In general, keep it to things that have happened in the past year, so it's current, not like, oh yeah, 10 years ago I used to be able to, and the last one is don't ask heard it here first things. Questions. We know David is not going to leak groundbreaking information on the forum. That's not going to happen.
No.
The major announcements are going to happen on their place, and for the official word, you need to check the FAQ and all of that sort of stuff. But it kind of gives it, and it will give people a way to go and think, a place to go and ask, how come you're doing it this way? How about you do it this way? Or what's your reasoning for this? So anyway, that's the big thing that opened up yesterday.
Excellent.
And we've got
what's been the response so far?
He's answered a couple of questions.
Oh wow, excellent.
Absolutely. About the Hall H lineups and the hotel block system. There's a couple more pending, but people are welcome to go on and post their own question. He'll read through them, and if he feels as though he can answer it, he will. I'm going to post a link to that on the
comments in the Q&A.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I could go into what he said, but there's a lot to talk about today, so.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's I mean, it's a great way to have a conversation between fans and directly with David. I think it's a great thing to have available. So excellent stuff for setting that up. Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a continuation of the talkback panel.
Yeah.
Is the real idea of it. So
cool. Well, if you don't know who David Glanzer is, by the way, David is the Director of Public Relations and Press. He's the public voice for San Diego Comic-Con, so it's a very much a worthwhile thing to go and look at the forum and put a question to him. I think I've got a couple I'm certain that I'll put forward. Hopefully as well, I know that some people have been asking when or if David's going to be joining us again on the Hangouts. Just to let you know, I'm going to be talking about the guests that we've got coming up over the next 9 weeks of these Hangouts a little bit later. But David is one of them, and yes, he will be joining us, but it's just down to his availability, and he does want to come along and take part. So watch this space. We are going to be having David on the Hangouts again. So there we go. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Alyssa. And also joining us is a regular guest here on the Hangouts is Mark Searby. Hello, Mark. How are you doing, sir?
I am cock-a-doodle-doo, Mr. Sultana. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Oh, good. You're certainly in better form than I am at the moment, then.
Well, I was just basically referencing the present that I sent you a couple of weeks
Oh
ago.
no! Yes, I
Which,
haven't got it here.
oh, what a
I
shame.
know.
Maybe on Sunday you could show everybody the lovely present I sent you.
Yes, Mark has been very generous because I mentioned that I'd like to see Snowpiercer. I know that in the US you've got it already on Netflix. We haven't seen it here in the UK, and we don't know if it's ever going to show up. So Mark had an import DVD which he's gladly lent me. But as well as that, he's also sent me a children's book, which is Cock-a-doodle-doo, Mr. Sultana. Where on earth did you find it? And oh god, I'm gonna have to show it on Sunday. Yes, okay, I will. I'll definitely dig that out. So yes, what have you been up to, Mark? Did you celebrate Star Wars Day?
No, not really. I mean, because obviously it was the bank holiday here in the UK, so if you haven't got Sky Movies, you possibly couldn't watch it unless you got the DVDs. But it was more about really just having a nice day off, to be honest with you. I had a pretty crazy week last week anyway, because on Friday I was in central London interviewing Kathleen Rose Perkins, who most people probably know from episodes with Matt LeBlanc and Stephen Mangan and people like that. So I was interviewing her on Friday, and then before that I was setting up. I've got a couple of interviews this week with Andre Royo and Deirdre Lovejoy. So it's been a bit crazy, I've got to be honest. And in between that, fitting in films to see as well. So the past 7 days has been pretty crazy. So Monday was my only rest day.
Okay. So what have you seen in the way of films recently? What has been on the docket?
Well, Tuesday I saw Spooks, which I'm not sure if is available in the US at all, but it's kind of like the UK version of 24, I guess is the way to describe it. I've never seen the TV show, to be honest with you, but the film's coming out. It's got Kit Harington in it, who's obviously from Game of Thrones. I think that's why he's in it, because they want to sell it to people who have never seen the TV show. That's out this Friday here in the UK. And then the day after, I saw Danny Collins starring Al Pacino, which I know is already out in the US. We don't get it until the end of this month, so it's been a bit crazy.
I've seen the trailer for that. I really like the sound of it, because apparently yeah, he does a really good job in it. Apparently, he's really funny. So I'm up for seeing that. That's cool. Excellent stuff. I know that one of the films you have seen over the last 7 days, 14 days, is The Avengers, Age of Ultron. We are going to be talking about that as well. If you do want to jump in on the Q&A on that, if you want to make your comments and opinions known, we're going to try and keep it relatively spoiler-free, but I think we'll gladly talk a little bit now. Well, it's been out a week or so. I think a lot of people went to see it over the weekend. So, yes, we will be discussing our thoughts and opinions on Avengers. Have you seen it yet, Alyssa, by the way?
I have.
Yeah. Phew.
I have.
I didn't want to sort of like jump in and then Alyssa sort of like go, no, shut up. Okay.
Although I will.
Okay, any more than she usually does.
Well, somebody has to let her.
This is true.
So the thing that stood out in my mind, which is not directly related to the film, was I'm not going to bother watching stuff in 3D anymore.
Really?
I was really unhappy with the conversion over. I saw it in something called Real 3D, and I'm just going for 2D. Yeah. So
should we do the Avengers thing now?
Let's do the Avengers thing now.
Let's just do it now. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, then we'll now turn to our resident film expert, Mr. Mark Searby, who is now going to give his pocket review, spoiler-free, of the Avengers Age of Ultron. Or should I say the retitle? I think we're going to retitle it. I think it got a different title here in the UK, the long weekend of Ultron, because it's not an age. It's not. I mean, why have they called it an age? Because the Age of Ultron takes two days or something. It's ridiculous. So go on then, tell us all about it, Mark.
Well, the first thing that I will say is I love the first one. I don't think there's anybody out there who doesn't love the first one, because obviously it kind of heralded this new era of superhero movies. So I was kind of apprehensive about this one, because you think, well, what are they going to do with it? But I think this is better than the first, but in a different way. I think it visually and tonally, it's a lot darker. as well. It very much harks back to the sort of what Nolan was doing in Batman Begins. So you've got these kind of like family dramas really between obviously all of them. I know they're superheroes, but this film makes them to be these basic humans really, and there is problems internally in this family, this close-knit family. So it almost says, forget all the superhero stuff, we're just going to go with these problems and we're going to solve it. I love that about it. I love the fact that it just goes, yeah, we're going to do something that's so small that people don't really think about but affects everybody. The other thing I love about it is the fact that this is the film for the women, about the women who are in it. So, you know, Black Widow and obviously, sorry, the other one escapes me, Scarlet Witch. This film doesn't work if you take them out of it. I think they are brilliant in this film. I will, you know, Iron Man and Thor and whatever else, yeah, great, fantastic, okay, yeah, whatever. But these are the real ones. These are the ones that keep the film ticking along. And it just makes it more interesting. They've actually got real action, real dialogue, and you kind of feel like this is their film. Why would we want anything else? You know, I just, that's what I really took away from it. And also, it's a lot more funny this time as well. I think we're always going to get humor with the Marvel films. That's a given, I think. But this time it's a lot more funny. It's a lot more sarcastic as well. Because
it's a very black humor film.
It is, yeah, and I think mainly because obviously Robert Downey Jr. has got this way of doing sort of, I would say, British sarcasm, but all of a sudden everybody does it now, and I think it works really well. I mean, you've only got to look at the scene where obviously Hulkbuster comes out, and you know, I mean, that's a huge action scene, but what you're going to remember about it is how much comedy's in it, and I think that shows how much of work that Whedon goes into writing stuff like that. You know, it's just one of those marvelous things. In all honesty, I really, really like this film, and I liked it a lot more than I kind of thought of it. You know, I went in with expectations of it being good, but I came away thinking, wow, this is fantastic. I saw it on a Monday. I then went back and saw it first thing on the Thursday when it opened here in the UK. Had the cinema to myself as well, so you know, it was kind of nice. I just think it's fantastic, and you know, the little bit in between the credits is great as well. It kind of obviously sets it up for everything else. I'm not going to say what it is, but honestly, I just think it's a fantastic film. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I am going to be. I mean, okay, from that review, you're talking either a very strong 4 or a 5 out of 5. I mean, if you could give it a star score.
Oh, it's a strong 4, absolutely.
Excellent. Okay, well, this is where I'm going to be a little bit of a negative Nelly. I'm going to go slightly strong 3, or it's 3 out of 5 for myself. I actually felt that Joss Whedon was spinning too many plates to really make this a film I mean, you enjoy it and you appreciate it, but I didn't have as much fun as I did with the extremely well crafted first Avengers film. I think you're absolutely right. I think he certainly does a fantastic job with the female characters, including the extremely feminine Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, who I feel is the absolute core of this film. He's the touchstone for everybody. It's interesting that you mentioned Black Widow's contribution, Scarlett Johansson in the film, in that. Because it felt like in the first film, because we weren't seeing Hawkeye in full flight, he was being mind controlled by Loki and his scepter. It was almost as if to say, okay, Joss Whedon went, right, I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to make you the core character in this film. At which point he then forgot to do Black Widow stuff. I think for me. It just turned into a kind of almost a damsel in distress. All the grief that Joss Whedon has been receiving over the last week or so, there is some justification for it. It's understandable where some of that anger has come from. Admittedly, it's not justified to the bullying that he's been receiving over the last couple of days, and certainly the nonsense with Joss Whedon leaving Twitter, which we will come back to. So, I felt that there was some a slight tonal shift there. I think Jeremy Renner, I think, like I say, is the anchor for the film. But what I really enjoyed about the film is all the things that we felt could have gone wrong, the things that we were uncertain about walking into the cinema to see this, how they were going to deal with Ultron, how they were going to do the Scarlet Witch, how they were going to do the Vision. These were the things were actually the most successful elements of the entire film. I will say that the Vision is absolutely my favorite character in the entire film. There are moments in that in the film which actually left me. I actually believe I whooped. I whooped in the cinema when I went to see it, especially in one scene. And you know, if you've seen it, you know what I'm on about. You know which scene I'm talking about. And I whooped, and I was with a massive grin on my face. I think Marvel still has a couple of issues in terms of let's have a big thing falling out of the sky or a threat falling out of the sky in the back end for the denouement of the film. It says a lot that you could actually take Captain America, Tony Stark to some degree, the Hulk. I mean, there's obviously some big moments. The previously mentioned Hulkbuster and Hulk scene is obviously a major catalyst at the beginning of the film. It's actually one of the first big action sequences that takes place. But you could actually, the spotlight is not on them, and it's like Mark says, it's very much towards characters that you didn't expect. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are fantastically well done in this film. I actually, although prefer how Quicksilver looked in the X-Men movie in Days of Future Past, but the character is certainly better in this film. I will say considering that you have something like 18 to 19 characters in play at one point in this film, I think there's just so many plates that Joss Whedon is spinning, and it says an awful lot about the skill of Joss Whedon as a filmmaker, that he does manage to keep all those plates spinning. But you end up, I think the best analogy I put into it was, it's like going to the circus and seeing some very brightly coloured characters up there on the high wire. When you go to the circus, you sit there and you admire the skill of these people up on the high wire. The first film, however, and what we were kind of hoping for, was Cirque du Soleil. We wanted something a little bit more magical involved. It didn't quite stick the landing, but that's just for me. But okay, very quickly, Alyssa, your take on it. What did you think?
Kind of playing off of your idea of many plates in the air, so to speak. I think that while it didn't give us the magic of the first one, it had so much more depth. And I think that that's why, kind of to dovetail onto what Mark was saying, is that in the rewatching of it, I think we're going to explore the Ultron as Pinocchio, and that eternal storyline of wanting to be more human. And I think we're also going to delve deeper into the classic storylines that Joss put into this movie. Scarlet Witch making the decision to be an Avenger. I mean, everybody has had those decisions in their life. It's who determines what we are as a human being when we make those life-changing decisions. You go left, you go right, whatever. She made that decision, and so I think that in the rewatching of it, and I've only seen it once, and I need to see it more times, I think that more and more of those classic mythological storylines will see the threads weaving through it, and that will propel it into being a movie that holds up better than the first one does, which was fabulous. I loved it. So that's kind of my take on it. I loved the Ultron voice of what's his name?
James Spader.
James Spader. Yeah, Carol Hanson's jumped in on the Q&A and she's saying using James Spader's voice for Ultron was brilliant. Loved his snarky tone, and it's a brilliant performance from James Spader. Someone actually did say that he's actually doing a very good Robert Downey Jr. impression, because at the end of the day, he is effectively Tony Stark's son. There's definitely a father-son kind of like rebelling against that parental figure, and I appreciated that thought.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I mean, was Hulk. I mean, I loved the Hulk character. I've never been a big fan of Hulk in the comics. It just never really clicked with me. But this really kind of movie brought him much more into perspective, because I haven't read anything that he's been in years, so I don't know the canon behind his character at all, and so I was really happy to see his character more explored. And it seemed like, you were talking about Hawkeye and Scarlet, and then Mark was talking about the Scarlet Witch, and to my mind, I think if you took him out of it, it would have been an entirely different movie. And Joss did. He kept all of these plates in the air, plus he made it go from point A to point B, which is the post-credit scene. That
I think a lot of the film was talking about stuff that's going to be happening shortly. I mean, or in future films. There's a large amount of setup for Black Panther, which is going to be due in the next couple of years. You also had, like you say, the post-credits, everything spinning off and getting ready for Infinity War between now and 2018, 2019, when that's due. So, yeah, absolutely.
When that came out and when all of that came into fruition during the movie, both me and my son, who were like, yes, jumping up in our seats. It's like, the whole Infinity Stone and all, because that for us was the most important thing, or one of the important things in the movie. So I am looking forward to rewatching it.
I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm going to be going back and seeing it again. I'm guessing, Mark, you're going to go again.
Mm-hmm.
If I've got time, yes.
When you've got time.
But I mean, when you go back a second time, as you know with most films anyway, you kind of relax into it a lot more. You kind of feel like I don't need to sit to attention and feel like I've got to take it all in. So you do pick up on certain things. It was funny because I saw it the second time, and there's just little bits where I was like, I never even saw that before. But because obviously it goes further down into the storyline, that's when you know.
Excellent. Okay. Well, like I say, this was only going to be a quick chat about it. So, Mark, you're saying a strong 4. I'll say a mid to strong 3. Alyssa, where would you put it? Well, go on, give us an idea. Are you gonna duck out of this?
I'm gonna duck out of it because I haven't given it the attention it deserves.
Fair enough.
I think, and just like Mark said about God, I'm doing this with the movies again. The movie with the wave, the time traveling guy that was recent. Oh. Oh, good
grief! You what?
Mark, the Chris Nolan movie.
Oh, Interstellar.
Oh, Interstellar.
I loved it. I just saw Interstellar. I'm going to say that I think it's on that level, but we just have to let it percolate and be in our culture for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my inclination at this point, and if that holds true on a second viewing, I'm going 3.5, 4.
Fair enough. Okay. We'll quickly then talk about this then, because Carol Hansen, and we just mentioned it as part of our little chat. What do you think of Joss Whedon quitting Twitter, allegedly over negativity over Avengers Ultron? This also kind of pans back to something that was discussed this weekend, which I noticed on Twitter, about when the producer of Doctor Who, whose name, help me out, Mark, why can't I remember his name?
I don't watch that show, I'm afraid.
Oh, grief. Okay, yeah. But I think the general thing that's being talked about this weekend is about how the snapshot reaction of people has been so vitriolic, certainly on social media, and yet Joss Whedon has now decided, nope, I've had enough, and has quit Twitter. What's been your take on this, Mark? Because we were talking about this before we came on air.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Well, it's not a strange one. I mean, there's absolutely no need for it. I mean, if you don't like the film, you don't like the film. You know, this is the thing. But some of the stuff that I saw, I retweeted something this morning where people had put it into like a one shot, and it got, and people had put all these things that people had tweeted to Joss Whedon. And I'm thinking, well, why? You know, if you don't like the film, then you don't like the film. You know, this is just, it's one of those things. But I mean, there's 2 points that probably I'd like to make about this. Is one, that Joss Whedon is probably one of the Hollywood directors who writes strong females. You know, nobody seems to have a moan at Michael Bay for writing absolutely rubbish females, but everybody has a go at Joss Whedon. Yet here's the guy who created Buffet and, you know, other people like that. I mean, you look at his films, you look at his TV shows, it's all about the females, and yet all of a sudden they're having a go at him because he's done something wrong.
He hasn't written Black Widow as their own, to a standard that they feel that they want to.
Yeah, they're expecting a certain type of Black Widow, and it doesn't happen. It's like, as you said, Leonard, you know, he's juggling a lot of plates. He can't focus on one thing, but there's just no need for all of that. And you kind of think, now he's done that, is he just going to turn around and say, you know what, I'm not going to do any female-centric stuff now, because clearly I'm just getting heat from it all the time, and it's pointless me doing it. I'm just going to go out and, you know what, I'm just going to make, I don't know, another Shakespeare film, and we'll put it out, and that'll be it. So it's a shame to see him gone that way, and especially for most of the fandom as well. This is the thing, because I think most of these people who have had a go at him were fans over the years. And the other thing that leads me on to my second point is, as Wes Craven and Sean Cunningham so beautifully put it back in the 70s, it's only a movie. Keep repeating, it's only a movie. That's all it is. You know, I mean, you know, it just boggles the mind that people are getting so upset about this. I mean,
it's the death threats.
Yes.
What on earth? Someone has correctly put the name in my head. Listen, I've had a long weekend. Shut up, guys. It's Stephen Moffat, and yes, I met the guy. I met him on the preview night about 2 years ago, on the stairs outside the convention centre. Yes, Stephen Moffat is the producer of Doctor Who and indeed showrunner. I mean, what I'm tying this back to Comic-Con, because it's looked like Doctor Who will never make an appearance, certainly while Stephen Moffat's running it, at Comic-Con ever again, purely because Stephen Moffat has had that relationship with Hall H. The 50th anniversary, he brought exclusive content out for Hall H, and told everybody, let's keep this to ourselves, let's have this as our own little celebration of Doctor Who, and about 10 minutes later it was on YouTube. Apparently at this point he has thrown his bat and ball home. He deleted his Twitter account very shortly afterwards, and basically fell out of love with social media. So yeah, tying it back to Comic-Con, I don't know whether we will actually be seeing Joss Whedon returning to San Diego anytime soon, purely because he just feels that the fan base now has just gotten a little bit too aggressive for him.
I don't know if we can extrapolate from Twitter to the San Diego folk. I hope that jump isn't made, because I tend to think that San Diego folk are a little bit more understanding and inclusive than the general Twitter population. That said, that's brutal, and I don't blame Joss at all for leaving Twitter. I mean, to open yourself up to that kind of vitriol is, I mean, the fact that some people do it and can get away with it for as long as they have without experiencing that negativity is great. But the minute that people like Joss, who are such huge contributors to the geekdom, feel that
we were talking before we came on air, because also one collective who I'd really like to get on the hangout is the Geekery. We've got Angel King, who I'm a big fan of on the Twitter, and for some strange, the Geekery does which put themselves forward as a very pro-feminist geek website, and they just seem to be constantly on the receiving end of abuse, anger, some really nasty stuff. Irma is watching. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the Q&A, Irma Erickson. Wow, Mark, I'm reading that tweet with the horrible tweets to Josh Whedon. She's used the word amazing. I think that's more a case of she's just dumbstruck at how violent and how vitriolic it's just been over the last certainly 24 hours. But I mean,
certainly there's times when people just anybody who's a creator just has to leave all of the negative people behind. And I don't blame him at all for doing it and just cutting them out of his life, because they don't deserve. Yeah, here I am making a judgment, but they don't deserve to be in this.
No one deserves to get grief.
Yeah.
Life. I mean, it's a classic phrase, but life's too short for that.
Yeah,
nonsense.
Exactly.
So,
I was going to be a little bit more mean, but I'm going to decline. Thank you. Can we talk about parking now?
Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay. Yeah. Do jump in with your comments. Let's know. It's a conversation. Do jump in with the Q&A comments, especially on the hashtag as well. Cup of tea SDCC. Please do let us know what you want to talk about. Okay. Well, the next thing then is parking, which is something I haven't been taking part in. So, Alyssa, it's over to you.
It is going remarkably smoothly. Group 2 parking area, which is the second group, just got in yesterday, and they had underground convention was available all day yesterday until later on, when Underground Sunday sold out, which was it's confused a lot of people. I think it has to do with vendors needing to get parking, needing to do the loadout. And it's family day and all of that sort of thing. So the news is that there is no news with parking. So.
Okay.
New York City.
I've been reading about one or two people finding that they've been struggling with the just generally getting in the first batch of parking slots. Have you been reading any issues at all?
No. The only issues that I've been reading about are things like people logging in under the wrong email address and not being able to find the spots, which just takes some redirection. So it's not 100% intuitive, and you've got to read the how-to, which, yeah, you got to read the instructions, which is a hindrance to some people.
Well,
you know.
Yeah. I'm a bloke, and anyone who's seen me try and put Lego together will know this is not going to be something that I'm.
Oh yeah, I had to one of those mini Star Wars celebration figures. I had to look up the pictures for that. I was like, how does this go together? But New York Comic Con has discontinued their pre-reg. You used to be able to. The VIPs used to be able to get in to buy tickets early for a certain segment of tickets. So, 20 or 30% of the tickets could be bought early by the last year's VIPs. That has been discontinued, which has thrown the New York Comic Con community into an uproar, frankly. But that makes the one chance for ticket sales next Tuesday as being so very critical to a lot of people. And they seem to be New York Con. Now, granted, they've got a much more robust back-end ticket selling mechanism behind them than I think Epic was a few years ago. But they are doing a system that is first come, first serve with a waiting room. And given the history that has happened with San Diego's and problems with things like Google Analytics and click-through links and emailed links and all of that, I'm anticipating a little bit of problems with regards to that. I hope I'm wrong, but it really seems as though that we're in like 2011, 2012 for San Diego ticket sales. So for anybody who's going for New York Con tickets,
Yeah.
Be prepared to go and listen to social media and get other links and do the deal, because it could be easy, but it could be hard too.
Sure. Now, one person that we have spoken to when it comes to New York Comic Con from Repop in the past is Brian Stevenson. Now, Brian's actually changing his focus within the company. Apparently, we may have a new contact with Repop, who we may be speaking to in the future. Is that right?
I'm hoping to be able to get in contact with him and get him onto the Hangout. Brian is taking a more global perspective on Repop because of all the shows they're doing, and hopefully Mike Anderson will be. Now his name I could pull out of the hat, but Interstellar I could.
That says a lot about your focus, dear. You're all about the con.
So hopefully we'll be able to get Mike on. Brian will be at SE NYC, and I hope to get a few minutes with him and get a couple minutes with Mike also, and hopefully we'll be on air. That's going to be on the first weekend in June. Okay. So I'm hoping to be able to do my my little
camera thing. That, by the way, if you didn't see before we took the 2 weeks off, go check out the previous episodes of Cup of Tea. If this is the first time you've jumped on these, check out the because it was going to be a rather handy kind of walk around of WonderCon Anaheim. It would have been rather handy for 2016. It is now moving to LA. However, do check it out because it's a fun little walk around. She does a. We get Alyssa to do a bit of a tour. She puts the mileage in as she walks around. It's quite impressive.
And I'll do the same for SE, but it's going to be a lot more just artists at booths, I think,
sure.
than it will be selling stuff. So.
Irma's jumping about New York Con. It was hard last year, but I got my pass. But I also got my Artist Alley table, which I'm hoping to get again at New York Comic Con. So best of luck with that, Irma. Yeah, it's something that I'm intrigued in looking into. I mean, I'm hoping to speak to Repop to applying for press in the desperate hope that I may be able to get some plane tickets. Who knows? It's all about money at this point.
I was checking on Kayak, and it was $600 round trip.
Yeah, I know.
It was like $450.
I know. Speaking of press passes, very quickly, this is breaking news. If you do want to check your emails, if you've applied for press for San Diego Comic-Con this year, the emails are going out to the registration for your press passes is now open. Now, according to one or two sources, if you had already received a confirmation email or an email saying that you were applicable for the registration, that you were guaranteed to get a badge, now's the time to make damn sure, because the registration is now open. Just to let you know, it's incredibly easy to do, considering I've just done it in 3 pages. So there we go. So if you are applying for press, now's the time to head over to your emails, check your inbox, because those are rolling out now. So that's that. I think the other thing that we wanted to talk about is a piece of news that has been reported by the SDCC blog. This is Conan O'Brien, who is going to be doing a number of shows at the Spreckles Theatre throughout the course of San Diego Comic-Con. Now, this is not so much in terms of news, because we kind of knew it was coming, but there was an official announcement on the Conan show was it over the weekend or last night? Basically stating that, yep, we're coming to Comic-Con. Is it something that you would be interested in, Alyssa? Mark, what do you think?
I'm not going to it. I won't do it. What the forum is saying is that it's going to be probably taped in the afternoon, and that they're going to be giving away tickets.
Whoa.
So I mean, that's traditionally how they do it with the talk shows, apparently. And I'm gonna turn this over to Mark. Wasn't there something? Yeah, I'll post a link for where we think the tickets are going to be. Mark.
Yeah. Well, because we don't get Conan O'Brien over here. This is the thing. I mean, we know of him, obviously, because there's clips on YouTube and things like that, so we know of him. But I've never seen a full episode. But I think it would be interesting to be in the audience, because here in the UK, you can be in the audience of a BBC show, anything like that. You can be in it. So I imagine it's kind of the same thing. But it would just be interesting to be at a Conan O'Brien show, because, this guy is known worldwide, but also at San Diego. I think it would be very interesting. But in the afternoon, I mean, is he really going to get people going? I don't know how well this is going to work. This is the thing, because everybody who's got a ticket for Comic-Con is going to be there, and then you've got all of these off-site stuff as well. Obviously thinking about last year, Walking Dead and Game of Thrones and stuff like that. You're not just popping in and popping out. It's going to be Conan O'Brien. You're probably there 2 hours. So I'm very interested to see how this goes and if there's any empty seats.
Indeed. I was... Oh, go on.
Yeah, I tend to think that there won't be. There's enough people who go to con without having San Diego tickets, without having pass badges. So I think that there's going to be plenty of those folk who will happily do it. And that's typically how the talk shows do it in New York. Is that and I'm assuming it's the same on the West Coast, is that they tape it in the afternoon for broadcast that night. And since they are broadcasting it on a timely basis, they aren't holding it, that it kind of makes sense how they're going to do it. I'm still trying to look for where to get tickets now.
Well,
so very quickly on that, we have just had a comment regarding number one, we do get Conan here in the UK. He's on TCM, but it's very late at night, so it's kind of it's buried, so it's certainly not kind of in the main run of the thing. In terms of tickets, we've had James Ormerson get in contact with us, stating that we may be able to see them if you head to the teamcoco.com page. However, he has Facebooked the Spreckles Theatre. They don't know how the tickets are being done either, so it could be very much in the air. He saw it in New York a couple of years back, and it is a lot of fun. I think you're absolutely right, Mark. I mean, I was hoping that it was going to be an evening thing, and it was going to be something that was going to take over my Saturday evening, perhaps, because I've done Nerdist for the last 2-3 years, and I was going to do Conan as kind of like as the replacement of this. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to be a midday thing, and to pull people out of Comic-Con, certainly on a Friday and Saturday. I think you could actually have some very empty seats in. Let's be honest. I don't think you're actually going to get any empty seats.
No.
Let's be honest. I mean, but if you are heading for Comic-Con, you're going to be going for Comic-Con. I think you're absolutely right on that. Any ideas of who we'd love to see on a Conan show, though?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Oh, because there's so much talent there.
It is. I mean, we've been kind of discussing whether Star Wars will be showing up this year. No, I know. Right. I'm actually going to put something out there now, because I think we're actually going to get some Star Wars stuff at Comic-Con this year, purely because of the amount of Star Wars stuff that's coming out in the next couple of years. Today we had the notes, the release of the information that there is going to be another anthology film. It is going to be a Boba Fett film, which is going to be going. That's probably going to happen after episode 7. So you're going to have episode 7, Rogue One, episode 8, Boba Fett. So that's how it's going to be every other year. And then of course you've got Rogue One that's happening next year. So I think there's enough content and enough people to bring to San Diego, and I think there may be a panel. But that's just me. That's me putting my kind of thing there. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I think you're probably right, actually, thinking about it. They've got so much to do. You know, they've kind of set them, what would basically be their Marvel universe up already and gone, look, at Christmas time for the next 6 years, forget about seeing anything else. You're seeing a Star Wars film, and I don't care what you say. So I think you're right. Yeah, they've got so much to do, and obviously they'll still have a lot to show for the new Star Wars film. I imagine that Rogue One will have possibly been doing some bits, and as we know, Gareth Edwards is doing that, and he was here last year, I think it was, with Godzilla. Yeah. So, you know, there's no reason why not. And I mean, if it is, it will probably be pretty crazy, I think. I think that's going to be the talking point for the whole weekend.
Sure. So, yeah, you've got a number of the Star Wars people who could be in town to talk to Conan. We've got Carol Hansen, who's watching, saying she's hoping for a Nathan Fillion, Alan Tudyk appearance off the back of Con Men.
Yeah.
I am interested in that. I think it'd be nice to see if there's a panel, because Nathan Fillion hasn't done a panel at Comic-Con for a couple of years now. He hasn't felt that Castle has been something that he's felt that needed to be represented at Comic-Con. He's always gone over to Nerd HQ for his charitable contribution. But yeah, I think Nathan Fillion, Alan Tudyk as a Con-Man panel, I think is very much Comic-Con related. So do
you know what? That you saying that, Leonard, I would really like to see a Nathan Fillion panel, much like the John Barrowman panel, where he just turns up for an hour and he goes, right, questions, go straight away, and it's just kind of, well, just all over the place, crazy, brilliant. So
low down and dirty.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
This was just did a panel like that in San Diego a couple of years ago, and it's brilliant. Any of those people who got stage presence that can think on their feet and talk, that would be wonderful. But the Conan O'Brien, it has the potential that you can have all of these little skits with Nathan Fillion showing up, and you do a bit with Harrison Ford. You pull in the Star Wars. He can. It's more. Well, but I mean, it has the potential for that of being a real star-studded. Yeah,
absolutely. No, I know what you're saying. And not only that, but Harrison Ford didn't make it to Star Wars Celebration, obviously because of his injury. And from what I've been reading in one or two reports, he really missed that. He actually really wanted to be on stage for that, because he felt that it was bringing Star Wars back to the audience that wanted to see it. So
did he really think that?
Apparently so.
All right.
Apparently so. Although I did quite like the tweet about the Vanity Fair cover, about seeing the new cast members there and the Wookiee there and Harrison Ford smiling, and someone in the Twitter went, yeah, and I bet this photograph took about 3 hours to put together just to get him to smile. I think that's a bit harsh, but there we go. So, no, who knows? I'll be paying very close attention to see if any of the Star Wars guys will be showing up. But I think if Marvel Studios ain't showing up, they're not just going to let Warner Brothers just own Hall H on Saturday. It's not going to happen. So that'll be interesting. I think it'd be interesting to watch a lot of people's social media. I mean, we're talking about creatives kind of getting a lot of grief for their social media, on their social media. I think it's going to be, from here on in, it's going to be interesting to watch who's going to be where, because they are going to be kind of announcing, oh, I'm going to be with Conan on such and such, so it'll be interesting to pay attention to that. Okay, any other last-minute things that we want to talk about on the Q&A? Jump in now, because I've got a bit of an announcement to do. Anything else that you two want to discuss, Mark and Alyssa?
I mean, I've got one question, which is going back to the Conan O'Brien thing, and somebody can tell me this, because I haven't got a clue. What the heck is Team Coco? I don't know what it is. Okay. Well, Coco is his nickname. Okay.
C-O-C-O... No, I'm not going to do that. And Team Coco is his name. Right. But no, that's just a nickname.
Oh right. Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Oh right. Okay. Oh, it was just there was loads of people talking about it on Friends of CCI, and I'm thinking, I'm missing out here. Has he got like some other people behind? What's going on? You know, and they're going, oh, make sure you follow Team Coco. I'm thinking, I don't know who Team Coco is.
If anyone else knows who Team Coco is, that'd be do let us know on Cupo T SDCC. If there, does he have like an army of Conans? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about now. Okay.
I'm shifting gears here. In the States, people may want to be aware and clear room off of their DVRs because it's the week of, we're coming up to the week of finishes for a whole bunch of seasons of shows. So we've got a season finale of Forever, of Person of Interest, of Big Bang Theory, of Once Upon a Time, and all of these shows, the following, Bates Motel, Returned, Castles, all of these season finales, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., are happening between now and the 12th. So pay attention to your DVRs, folks.
Sure.
And I have been watching.
Speaking of kind of like as we're into the final stretch of seasons, I did actually tell you what, I'm going to do a quick catch-up of Big Bang Theory. Can somebody let me know when did that get funny again?
I have no idea. I never watched it.
Well, it wasn't funny for about a year and a half, and all of a sudden it's funny again. I missed that memo. What the hell happened? It's actually quite amusing. I don't know. Then again, I'm a Bernadette fan, so any more Bernadette, I'm happy. Right.
I've been watching The Turn, which is on AMC. It's a Revolutionary War show, which is I'm just thinking is brilliant. The lead actor is going to be, and I know this is not a huge credit to him, is the Thing in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. Which everybody is going, oh really? About seeing. But he's a huge actor and he's brilliant, and as far as I can tell. So.
Excellent. I'm trying to find James Ormerson's Twitter because obviously I think we need to follow James Ormerson. He is the official Conan O'Brien expert apparently. Just to let you know, it's a spin-off from Tom Hanks nicknaming Conan Coco, and the Team Coco was the pro-Conan side during the Jay Leno thing a couple of years back. It was adopted officially when he went to TBS. So there you go. Thanks, James. I'm going to find your Twitter. I'm going to let everyone know that if anyone on anywhere wants any questions answering about Conan O'Brien, we go direct them to you.
Absolutely.
Cool. So, excellent. So, okay, one last thing then. We are back again on Sunday. We're going to get these back regular. Also, we're going to be starting our SDCC toolkits as of this Sunday coming. Pay attention to the social medias because over the next day or so, I'll be setting that event up and giving you more details about what is happening, especially when it comes to the guests. However, hopefully we're going to be having some guests on Sunday. The organisers of the Sherlock Party, one of the hot tickets when it comes to the off-site events. And on Sunday, we are going to be giving away 2 tickets to the Sherlock event. I think it's that close to selling out now. It's the tickets have not been on sale for very long, which gives you an idea of just how popular this event is. This is the one that a couple of years back, Stephen Moffat and all the showrunners and a couple of the cast members of Sherlock actually showed up. They're very much big supporters of the event. I've spoken to the organisers, and they've been very generous to allow us to give away 2 tickets to the Sherlock Party, the Sherlock DCC. There you go. So it's all one word. So do tune in on Sunday as we'll be giving those tickets away. Very quickly, any last-minute comments on the Q&A? Irma Erickson is talking about Big Bang Theory. It didn't get funny again. It's awful. I liked the first couple of seasons, but that's it. It just really bugs me now. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying because I think even the cast has kind of revealed themselves at the panels that they take the piss out of us nerds as much as everybody else does. But
that's what
the last
he
couple of
said to me.
Really good.
About it is that it, for the first couple of years it was laughing with the nerds, and then all of a sudden it changed, and like year 2, 3, 4 somewhere, and it started laughing at nerds, and that's what got to me. On the few shows that I've seen, I felt like I've been the butt of a joke, and I don't want to subject myself to that. I'll be Joss and leave.
Fair enough, understandable. Okay, and also a comment regarding my opinions about Avengers. Neil Williamson, Leonard, it's okay for you to be wrong about the movie. Don't worry about it. Fine. Hey, listen, this is what opinions are for, okay? So there we go. Right, I think that's pretty much everything. Like I say, I do know that there's been some exclusives news, but it hasn't been massive. There's only been dribs and drabs, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks we're going to be covering more exclusives, and we are going to be doing an exclusive special on the SDC toolkit. Like I say, do watch for the social medias and also for the alerts. More information on the way. Right, I think that's pretty much us. Once again, thanking my guest, Mark Searby. Where can people find you on the social medias, sir?
I'm on Twitter at Mark_Searby, and that's about it. So I'm on Friends of CCI forum as well, because it's a damn good forum for everything, basically. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, excellent. And speaking of which, friendsofcci.com forum, friendsofcci.com/forum is where you can mostly find Alyssa. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Alyssa.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And likewise, Mark, I go to you for my movie reviews. An excellent comment.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a massive love fest here between these two. So, thank you. And for myself, you can find me at Englishman SDCC. Obviously, we're going to be doing our best to ramp up the updates as we get closer. I have had a bit of a gap of things happening on the website and on the Twitters, purely because of obviously one or two technical issues, and also life interrupting in terms of my wife and her leg. However, we're all well now, so we're back on to full strength, and also now that we've confirmed, we are officially acknowledged as press. So do watch this space as we cover some more stuff as we get closer to SDCC 2015. Thank you very much indeed for your company. We're back again, as usual, on Sunday. So that's 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 6 o'clock in the afternoon here in the UK. Hopefully you'll join us again for the next episode. Take care, enjoy your week, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.